have, I believe, 1.5 minutes upon hearing this message. So, or like 1 minute. we're running out of time. So place your bets, everyone. Place your bets on how you think the series is going to go. Again, you are betting for the series, not the game. As we load into game number 1, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of our Keone, we have the Finnish Zerg player representing Team Basilisk. It is Serral. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the reigning world champion, the Chinese Terran, representing CranKy Z Gaming, DKZ. It is Oliveira. Oh, the gamba, papi, the gamba. Let's go. As a reminder for context as well, the winner of this series will advance on to the semi-finals to face off against the winner of Solar and Creator in that lower quarterfinals match. Actually catching up, it looks like all the quarterfinals are now beginning. We have Serral versus Oliveira, Solar versus Creator, Dark versus Cure. Oh my god. And MaxPax versus Clem. MaxPax took down Gumiho, Clem took down Skillus, and Cure took down Hero. Oh my god. So quite a lineup facing off against each other. And we'll see who makes it on through to the semifinals, as this is a bit of a rematch. You know, here in WTL, whether it's KungFu Cup or whether it's the main WTL format as well, we have casted these two face off quite a bit, but we haven't casted Serral versus Oliveira this patch and in this map pool. So I'm curious. I'm very curious to see how they shape up against each other and how Oliveira has adapted to Serral over the past couple of months. I'll always remember Serral versus Oliveira on Dragon Scales. It was great. It was I think Asher's brought it up more than once, and so have I, where that was like the perfect ZvT late game from Serral. It was crazy how he was able to perform against Oliveira in the last map pool. I believe this was in the main season of WTL, of World Team League, summer, not winter. I believe the VODs are on YouTube. And it was inspiring. It was God, I couldn't believe my eyes. All the fireflies, Bobby, all the fireflies. But we'll see if this compares. See if this does compare. Again, they have faced off in KungFu Cups in the past as well, but that was last season. For now, Hatch Gas pull into a third base. Nothing too fancy from Serral. He does pull out of gas, so we're not rushing into a Roach Warren, we're not rushing into a Bailey Nest or even a Fast Lair. Behind this, we do have an economic opener as well out of Oliveira. He's going for a third TC before Starport. So again, very economic stuff. The other interesting thing is that Oliveira, he didn't go for an SCV Scout. He skipped his Reaper as well. So very greedy opener here from Oliveira, as, oh, he's opening up double Cyclone. Now, this is an interesting opener that we have seen from Cure. Cure has been quite fond of this. You go double Cyclone, you can go up to 4 Cyclones and then into Hellions, or just 2 Cyclones into Hellions from there. And the goal is to hunt down these Overlords, is to move out, hunt down Overlords, and apply pressure to the creep. It's not necessarily to go mass Cyclone. And there it is. 2 Cyclones and then Hellions. Now, the reasoning for the Hellions is because if you've been seeing how Cyclones interact with other units, Cyclones are actually very fragile, and Lings annihilate them. Lings, if they can close the distance, they will completely clean Cyclones up. So these Hellions are designed to support the Cyclones and make sure that doesn't happen. As the first Overlord has been found. First Overlord does go down. Again, we do have another Overlord a little bit more exposed here, but alas, Oliveira's not fully aware. Comes across the Queens, and he takes a lot of damage already. He was looking for this second Overlord and didn't quite come across it. The Lings are coming for a surround, but the Hellions arrive just in time, and this is the reason for the Hellions. This is why you don't go up to 4 Cyclones, or like why Hellions, they play such a important supportive role to make sure that surround doesn't kill the Cyclones. From here, Oliveira will back off and will take control of the Zolnaga. Behind this, it is Bio. We have 2 more Raxes, Stim on the way as well. So a standard follow-up. Serral is just going to be droning, saturating his bases. Interesting, he's mining through these mineral patches, and we have seen a lot of Zerg players go for this, or a lot of players in general. When it comes to Alcyone, you mine through these mineral patches, and then you gain access to this area, and you can take your 4th as either this linear 4th base, or even the gold, if you want to be a little bit more spicy. Likewise, once you expand in this direction, it becomes that much more awkward for your opponent to actually harass you and actually apply pressure here as well. So as we have become a little bit more accustomed to the new map pool, to Alcyone specifically, like this is kind of the direction that a lot of players are going in when it comes to expansion patterns. Behind this, Lair is on the way, Baneling Nest as well. Very safe opener here out of Serral. He's going to be delaying his upgrades in favor of Banelings and Baneling Speed. Again, just a very safe way to play ZvT. Respecting his opponent quite a bit. Typically, when you see a faster OTC opener, you try to be greedy and you try to keep up with your upgrades and you go into your double Eva chambers. But again, these Eva chambers were delayed in favor of other forms of tech. Safe play, man. Safe play. Serral is getting his 4th base. He's saturating, taking his gases as well. And likewise, Oliveira also building himself up. What I will say is that these Hellions and Cyclones haven't been too active outside of the start of the game. He hasn't really tried to slow down the creep. To be fair, like this is a really strong position just because these areas into the Zonaga are so narrow. Lings cannot push in, especially when Hellions are here. But at the same time, I feel like we could have been a little bit more active. And there we go, we do rotate around. We take down the Tumor, but the Lings are not too far behind. Oliveira does have to be careful. As Serral is working on his macro hatch as well. Oh, sorry, just expanding. Double expanding. Getting his 5th on the way. Oliveira has scouted the 5th base. He hasn't seen the 4th. Oliveira, he may think that this is where the 4th base is, by the way. He may not be fully aware of the bases that Serral has taken. As here we go, the first double jump has hit across the map. Stim is done. Combat Shield's about to kick in alongside 1-1. A very strong timing for Oliveira. He dives on the Queens. And he will take down 1, take down the 2nd Queen as well. The Banelings are rolling in. Barely takes down the 3rd and up. Looks like the Marines, they will avoid the Banelings. Good target firing, but he takes the Baneling towards the end. It looks like there is still too much though. He takes down everything, the Lings as well as the Queens, and he will deny this base. Oliveira getting out of control. Again, very good stutter stepping. He did take 1 Baneling to the face, but outside of that, he did have more than enough DPS to just keep on going. A very solid trade here from the Terran. And Serral's in a really rough position after that. He has to rebuild all his Queens. The Queens have to be rebuilt if we want to keep the creep threat up. Serral's going to be rotating around. At least his economy is safe. You know, he may have lost the hatchery, but he double expanded. So, you know, he's still on 4 bases, still on 78 workers. He has a solid economy. He can rebuild. The biggest blow there was the Queens. As Oliveira's going to be pushing on forward, cleaning up a lot of this creep. Creep is going to be going down. Otherwise, the Queens are here to replace it. Again, behind this, Oliveira, he's just building up a death ball of an army. He's only been aggressive with these drops. He did lose his Hellions and Cyclones, for the most part. But he does now get eyes on the 4th base. And now we have to make a choice. Which direction do we push in? Do we push towards the right, towards the left, or through the center? As Oliveira is moving out with his tanks, and the move out is spotted by the Changeling. Serral, he sees, he knows. He's getting ready with his own Banelings. Oh, this is going to be a tough defense. We'll see if Serral can pull it off. Again, 13, soon to be 25 Banelings. Oh my god, and we are pushing deep onto creep. Tanks are getting set up. Serral getting ready for a full surround. Is Oliveira overextending? The creep has still not receded. Serral, he's waiting for another wave of Lingbane. The Queens are buying some time. Oh, and a lot of them are going down, and here we go, we pull the trigger. Serral coming in from every single angle, surrounding the army, and he will completely clean this up. The Marines go down as well as the tanks, and again, I do think Oliveira's push was a little bit ambitious. Marines and Marauders continue to file on in, but we have plenty of Lingbane. Oh, enough Lingbane. As Serral is going to have to respect this. Oliveira not slowing down. He wants to keep this push going. But upon seeing all those Banelings, yeah, he thinks better of it. So he will back off. Behind this, there is no 4th CC, by the way. I just did realize. Oliveira, he's up to 8 Raxes and still no 4th in sight. Uh-oh. Essentially, this is looking like the beginnings of an 8-Rax. Just doubling down here on nothing but production to try to snowball out of control and kill Serral. The downside is that because Oliveira just lost his tanks, because the tank count was reset, this is going to give Serral a lot of time to rebuild. Not just rebuild, but tech up into Hive. Vipers are out. And with those 2 Vipers, Oliveira's tank positioning, it's not going to be anywhere near as threatening. I'm concerned for Oliveira. I mean, he is going to have a really powerful army, but he's essentially going to be all in, as there just is no 4th in sight. If he's able to get some damage done, he can always pick up his main and land that as a 4th. But again, just really committed play here out of Oliveira. Here we go. Here comes the 2nd army. At the same time, Serral going for a big counterattack. We don't have that much creep spread. A lot of the creep has receded. And Serral doesn't have his entire army back at home to defend. Can he force Oliveira to turn around? Here we go, the Lings, they have arrived. Oliveira, he commits. No fear, he does not turn around. Meanwhile, his bases are being broken. Serral pushing into the natural, pushing into the 3rd, but he doesn't care. He's going for the kill. We do get 1 blinding cloud. And barely a 2nd as well. The spread is looking too good, and Oliveira, he does barely break through, but back at home, he's losing everything. Everything is on fire. Oliveira completely all in. He has to end the game with this push. He has to break into the main and get on top of the production. Tanks are slowly pushing forward as well. But Serral has to just take his time, bank up his Marines, bank up his Lings, bank up his Baelings. And he's coming in for the kill. The Queens have arrived. The Baelings roll in. GG gets called. And Serral takes game number 1. Ooh, GG. GG, well played. I feel like 8-Raxes have become pretty popular on Alcyone. We saw Maru do something similar on this map as well. Just hyper aggression here, looking to end the game. I think the difference is, though, if you remember, Maru, he took his because the all-in was lasting for so long, as we're getting ready for the next game, because the all-in was lasting for so long, Maru landed his main as the gold in GSL against Scarlet. It was against Scarlet or Solar, if I recall correctly. It was against Scarlet. It's against Scarlet. Where he just kept the 8-Rax all-in going via that gold base. Didn't work. Did not work. And yeah, that was a really risky maneuver out of Serral to go for the counterattack when he did. We saw that Oliveira, he was able to take a bit of a better fight and push through. But as we saw, Oliveira, he was all in and time was working against him. Serral, he just had to wait for more reinforcements, wait for his 2nd army, and eventually was able to collapse on Oliveira. GG, well played. With that, Serral is up 1-0. And we are getting ready for game number 2. Oh, Cyane. Aye. It's a shame we are casting the same game as Wardy. It is a shame. I mean, we had already kind of settled on going for the upper half of the bracket, so feels bad, man. I guess everyone wanted to cover Serral. I guess we could have tried to hold out for a Solar series instead. But you know, we are nearing the end of the broadcast, so all the casters are coming together. Hopefully there is someone else covering the lower half of the bracket, though. Fingers crossed, fingers crossed. As we get into game number 2, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Hard Lead, we have the Chinese Terran player representing CranKy Gaming down in this series, but not out. It is Oliveira. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Finnish Zerg player representing Team Basilisk. It is Serral, leading the series 1-0. Before this, Wardy, he was casting Max Pax versus Gumiho, so I had assumed that he would stick to that, you know, that like kind of follow that into Clem. I don't actually know if anyone is. I guess if Wardy is here, is anyone even casting Clem versus Max Pax? That'd be a shame if that wasn't being covered. TKL's gonna be on that, right? Question mark? I'm just quickly double. I'm curious myself, actually. Yes, okay. Yo, shout out to TKL. He's the French caster, and at least he's following Clem into max packs. Thankfully. I see what you did there, Nidstang. Time was working against him. Smooch. His alter ego Time working against Oliveira. Feels bad, man. Feels bad. As for now, Hatch Gas Pool, standard opener here from Serral. Likewise, Oliveira going for a Rax Expand. Nothing too fancy, no CC first, for example. And I imagine Oliveira is going to be going for a third CC before Starport once again, but we'll keep our eyes on him. Keep our eyes on Oliveira. As the Reaper does get across the map, goes straight to the middle line, and he wants a drone. Doesn't quite get it. Quick reaction there out of Serral does save the worker in the end. Take TV. Oh, nice. Let's go. Thanks for letting us know. Shout out to Take TV and... Oh, that actually makes sense, yeah. Shout out to Take TV and TKL for covering Max Packs versus Clan. Good to see that we are spread out a little bit. Feels good, man. As, Oliveira actually is going to be delaying his third CC. He goes for a straight up 1-1-1. Okay. Interesting. Of course, Oliveira, he does scout with this Reaper. He's just got a better read and better eye on what exactly is going on across the map. When it comes to his build, though, this is much more committed, as his third base is quite delayed. This typically would go into Banshee play, but we actually don't have a tech lab. We don't have an add-on swap. It's going to be double Cyclone into Marine production? Into a medevac? I assume? Oh, never mind. Okay, it's Cyclones into Hellions with a Liberator, not a medevac, and we are floating said Rax over to kill a non-existent Overlord. Feels a little bit bad, man. As the Overlord is not here. The Overlord is over on the left-hand side instead. So Oliveira took a little bit of a gamble here. Unfortunately, didn't quite lead to any results. Fortunate positioning out of Serral as the Overlord happened to be safe. Feels good, man. Yeah, the Rax is going to have to float it back home. Meanwhile, the Overlord is going to come in for a free scout to get a read on what's going on. Cyclone's going to be pushing out across the map, and the Overlord will confirm the opener, will confirm the lack of third CC, as well as the 1-1-1. There is a third CC, so it's not a 2-base all-in, but a delayed base here in favor of aggression. Here we go. We have the Liberator moving in towards the left-hand side. We have the Hellion Cyclone towards the right. Lings are in position. Queens as well. Looks like one Overlord is going to go down. And that will supply block Serral. At the same time, Liberator dives in towards that natural, towards the main even. Quick reaction though, out of Serral. He does pull back in time. Nice hold position micro. As he can go straight back to mining. Liberator going to reposition, gets one drone before moving out. Again, a nice back and forth here between Serral and Oliveira. And Oliveira, he hasn't really found the damage that he's been looking for. He killed one Overlord and one drone. That's nice, but Serral, he's setting up a trap. The Lings, they come in from behind, looking to surround the army. Looks like the Cyclone should barely escape. Oh my god. Good volleys. And Serral almost catching the army in the end, but not quite. Another Liberator rocks up here in the main. Getting one drone. Nothing major, no major damage, but we are getting damage done nonetheless. And behind this, Oliveira is taking his third base. Getting into his production, getting another drone. Oof. Before getting picked off. Now the question becomes, has this been worth it for Oliveira? Looking at the resources lost tab here, he did kill a decent chunk of Lings, but he lost 2 Liberators and a Hellion. He did force Lings to be made as well. There is that to bear in mind. but this was all in service of a late third base. I'm not too sure if it has been quite worth it yet. Serral, he holds on to his fourth. Double expanding, getting a fourth and a fifth base at the same time. Yo, you love to see it. We have Burrow on the way as well from Serral. This is something that we have seen a lot more Zerg players utilize. Fun fact, so for those who are, I mean, I'm sure you're aware, there was a patch recently and the Baneling has been nerfed. The Baneling it now has reduced health, but a way to circumvent that is, of course, with Burrowed Banelings. Have the Terran come to you instead of you coming to the Terran. And we have seen a bit of a rise, a spike in popularity when it comes to Burrowed Banelings in general. So a nice adaptation here from the Zergs. As Oliveira's moving out towards the left-hand side. Meanwhile, the wall's on a wall! No, we got a surround! Tank is going to go down. SCVs are being pulled, and this is an insane amount of damage already. At the same time, Oliveira, he has to commit. Up! Does have to commit, and he will hold his ground. He does force Serral back, but he's losing his entire minute. Oh no! Miscontrol! Oh, misclick! Serral, he clicks on the rocks, and the Lings go down. Likewise, Serral will lose this hatchery. There are Banelings to defend, Queens as well, and Serral, he goes for another run by, and he's not happy with 15 SCVs. He wants more. He won't get them, but he wants them. As the Ling Bane does roll it in, does connect here with the Marines, with the workers. And Oliveira's economy has been crippled. Oh, okay, I thought they were Banelings. As Lings are burrowed. I got excited, Bobby. I got excited. And with that, Oliveira, he lost 30 SCVs, 15, and then another 15. Another Ling counterattack, catching reinforcements, getting another tank as well. Oliveira bleeding out too much, and a bit of deja vu. He's forced all in. He needs to go here and now. Good target firing on the Banelings. But the Lings, they come in for a surround. The army gets cleaned up, and that's all she wrote. GG gets called. Serral will take the series 2-0, eliminating Oliveira. GG. Oh my god. That escalated very quickly. Like, that push, it's not like we were 8-raxing. It's not like Oliveira was all in. Like, he was working towards his next step, his next stage, his upgrades, his 4th CC. We did commit, and unfortunately, Oliveira, he was caught with his pants down, caught without much to defend back at home, and yeah, GG, well played. Congratulations to Serral for taking the series 2-0, advancing on to the semifinals. He is not the first, though. He is not the first to advance, because towards the south, MaxPax did 2-0 Clem. MaxPax also making it to those semis.